The movie begins with a young lady, Kasia, cheerfully running through a crowd of people on a tower to find a good spot to view the motorcyclists rushing past them. Apparently, a street race is going on as the crowd cheers on their favorites. A guy named Lai is seen steering his bike through the race course, neck to neck in competition with his opponent in their white gear. Lai wins the race with his schematic maneuver and is declared the champion. Kasia comes to greet her friend and prompts him to talk to his opponent, the girl in white. He tries to strike up a conversation with her, but she ignores him and leaves. As Lai gets ready to leave, a strange man in a mask approaches him to fix his bike. Lai ignores him and rides away with Kasia. Lai lives in Donghai City, which is facing a severe shortage of water, with the rich having extra to waste while the poor struggle for survival. Some have to resort to crime in order to provide for their families. Lai is bothered by the state of affairs, but he believes that time will change everything, and he always plays his part to be of good use to his side of people, the poor people. Lai works as a mechanic for bikes but also works for a smuggler, and on one of his delivery trips, he notices the clan's water industry. The clan is the most powerful of the 4 clans that govern the people. Lai breaks the lever and plentiful water is made available to the poor. Lai goes to support Kasia, with whom he shares a sibling-like bond. Kasia performs at a clubhouse to make a living for herself. Lai surprises her with a kitten he found at the smuggler's office den, and they decide to go meet his family. On their way, they come across Ao Bing, the 3rd prince of the clan, who controls the water. He shows interest in Lai Yunxiang's bike. His assistant asks Lai to name the price for the bike, but Lai refuses and they reach his family home. Kasia greets everyone and heads to the kitchen to cook. It appears that Lai has a rift with his father, who does not approve of his illegal work. They are joined by Lai's elder brother, Jin, who works at the Anti-Smuggling Bureau. Lai leaves the dining table when his father keeps going on about him not having an honorable job. Before they leave, Jin warns Lai about the crackdown of smugglers and warns him to be careful. On their way, Lai notices they are being followed. It's Ao Bing and his men. He exerts his rich privilege and wants the bike to his name, but Lai is not ready to part from his prized possession, so he makes a run for it while the guards follow closely at his heels. One by one, he manages to lose them with his bike skills and causes them to crash, including Ao Bing. That's when Ao Bing summons the dragon power in him and attacks Lai, causing them to topple over. The bike falls over Kasia. Ao Bing even eliminates the kitten. As Ao Bing and his men try to take the bike away, a defeated Lai is consumed by the rage inside him, and suddenly he erupts into fire, attacking Ao Bing with his flames. Ao Bing gets injured and is taken away by his men. Lai collapses while someone is watching from a safe distance. Lai wakes up to find himself draped in bandages in a hospital ward. The doctor attending him is Sue, the same girl he defeated in the bike race in the beginning. She tells him a strange man dropped him off at the hospital last night. She cautions him not to move as he is injured severely. But as a wound dressing comes off, the doctor is astounded to see that the wound has healed itself. Suddenly, Lai notices his senses are heightened and he can absorb everything happening around him. Flashbacks from the fight remind him of Kasia, and he runs to her room, where Kasia is still unconscious. Sadly, her leg had to be amputated because it got crushed. Jin comes to see his brother and is amazed to see him exiting the hospital. Suddenly, a convoy of the clan arrives with the leader, Mr. Ao Guang. The father of Ao Bing apologizes for the chaos his son caused last night. He offers gold as compensation and returns his bike, but a very angry Lai rejects his offer and mounts his bike, getting away from them. Jin apologizes to Mr. D and goes after Lai in his car to talk some sense into him. Mr. D suspects that Lai is not an ordinary boy, rather he is an old enemy residing inside Lai's body, so he orders his assistant Yaksa to get Lai eliminated before he masters all his power. As Jin tries to talk Lai into accepting Ao Guang's offer to change their lives for the better, Lai rejects it, saying he'll never accept the way of life as it is. Suddenly he notices that they are being pursued by assassins, one on a truck and one whipping a lash on her bike. Lai asks Jin to hop onto his bike just in time before the assassin destroys Jin's vehicle. They barely escape them by jumping off a cliff on the bike, resulting in a crash. Jinxiang ends up getting hurt, and Lai notices that the assassins are supernatural. One of them, the jellyfish demon, captures Lai with her restraints, and while the other one tries to eliminate him, Lai erupts into the fire again, burning the first assassin. When the other assassin, the anglerfish demon, tries to attack again, he is eliminated by that strange masked man from the beginning. He calls Lai Neja and it seems like he knows him, but Lai has no clue about this. Lai rushes Jin to the hospital and suddenly remembers where he first saw that masked guy. When he gets to the place, he asks the masked man, who resembles a primate, why he addressed him as Neja. He reveals to him that he is the reincarnation of the god Neja, but every time he is reborn, his memory is reset, which is why he does not remember his true identity. On the other hand, Prince Ao Bing goes to his father Ao Guang to finish what he started and eliminate Lai. Ao Guang reveals to his son his wound from 3,000 years ago, inflicted by Neja, that even the Dragon King of the East Sea couldn't heal from. He tells Ao Bing who Lai actually is, and he was the reason Ao Bing died in his past life. The Dragon King had to use all his power to resurrect his son, and that explains why Ao Bing has a metallic spine. This infuriates Ao Bing, who wants his revenge on Nezha, but his father admonishes him to stay away because even the 4 dragon kings of the sea could not control Nezha, who is very powerful, since he can eliminate gods and demons. Every time a baby is born in Donghai who could grow up to be Nezha, the dragon king makes sure to eliminate them, making sure Nezha is not reincarnated. After Ao Bing leaves, Dragon King Ao Guang and Yaksa head to the masked man to offer him a bounty for getting rid of Nezha. The masked guy pretends he does not know who Nezha is, but Yaksa bribes him with a lot of riches and he accepts it. Lai checks on his brother, but he is told off by his father, who wants him gone because he holds him responsible for the state Jinizit. Lai exits and goes on to fix his bike angrily, when suddenly he sees flashbacks of his past life, accidentally setting his bike on fire. He is helped by the people around him to put it out. He heads to the masked guy again to help him control and train his powers. When he does not agree, Lai remembers that the masked man wanted a bike like his, so he offers to make him a bike in return for his services. The masked guy trains him vigorously. Lai builds himself an armor he needs to channel the fire inside him. Otherwise, he can end up burning his heart and dying. He also builds an artificial leg for Kasha so she can walk again. When Lai believes he has mastered his powers, the masked guy challenges him to a duel. Despite all his advances, Lai is no match for his opponent's skills. During the fight, the mask falls off and he reveals himself to be the 6-eared macaque, a magical monkey. Monkey triggers the temper of Nezha by holding him responsible for the passing away of many, and this summons the being himself from within Lai. When Lai tries to summon him again, he is told by the macaque that he needs to align his spirit with Nezha's and get his astras back. They are the weapons, magical ring, and sky ribbon. Ao Bing decides to go against his father and wants his revenge on Nezha. Yaksa warns him against it, but when he notices that Ao Bing won't back out, he decides to take matters into his own hands. Next, Dr. Su finds Lai working on his armor in the courier shop and informs him of his brother is getting better. Suddenly, they are ambushed by Declan men. Yaksa transforms into his demonic self and tries to attack Lai, but his friend, Six, uses himself to shield Lai against the attack. Furious, Lai is able to summon the eternal flame deity who burns Yaksa badly. The clan men retreat. Back at the hospital, Dr. Su tries to comfort Lai that he is wrong to hold himself responsible for all the bad stuff that's been going on. Kasha is upset because of her situation, and she goes for a walk when she sees Liang, who has been hired by Ao Bing to bring Lai down. Liang eliminates Six and messes with Lai's armor, and when he notices Kasha, he goes after her, but suddenly the hospital comes under attack by acid bombs. Lai tries to save as many people as he can and connects with the inner primordial spirit of Nezha to ward off the attacks, but since Liang has altered his armor, he is unable to contain the fire. He asks the deity to stop the bomb from hitting, eliminates the hospital, but Nezha does not listen. Enraged, he makes his way to the catapult monster and sit along with the henchmen. Then he engages in a battle with an assassin, Rosy Cloud, but he manages to defeat her by unleashing his powers on her. When he rushes back to the hospital, he finds out that his father has been impaled. The father tells Lai that he is an extraordinary son and dies. Lai swears to eliminate all of Declan. Liang tries to pin the blame for Six's passing and all the disaster on Lai, but Kasha shows up, telling everyone the truth about him. While trying to escape, Liang falls from a cliff and dies. When Lai gets to their palace, the Dragon King has the 6-eared macaque demon in his captivity, whom he invited over to gauge how he is keeping his end of the deal. Upon learning that the macaque actually trained Lai instead of eliminating him, Ao is infuriated. It turns out that he is trying to create a new world order. Seeing Lai, he retreats into his great palace because he thinks he is no match for Nezha without the Dragon Pearl. Ao Bing stays behind and engages in one-on-one combat with Lai, summoning their deities. Ao Bing transforms into his dragon form, but Lai defeats and eliminates him, yet again, by pulling his metallic spine. Next, he is ambushed by the assassin Rosy Cloud yet again, who wants Nezha to pay for the damage he caused her in her past life. The 6-eared macaque saves him from Rosy. When Lai remembers what Nezha did, he lets her go. He realizes he is a monster that brings trouble to the people closest to him. This is where the macaque reveals that he is actually the Monkey King, and he guides Lai to the entrance of Ao Guang's greatest palace in the East Sea, where he uses Nezha's sky ribbon to harness the powers of all his dragons to create the Dragon's Pearl. This is why Donghai is facing such a water shortage, because Ao Bing is using all the water for his dragons that need fresh water to survive. Lai promises upon his father's grave that he will get water for his people, or die trying. He makes his way into the Dragon Palace, where he fights off various sea creatures and rides a shark to reach the destination. He reaches the place where he sees 2 captured sea beasts forced to pull the water into the column of the river dragons. He tries to set them free, but they are tied in Nezca's sky ribbon, and their cub is in danger. Suddenly, Ao Guang appears and mocks Lai for trying to think he can defeat him, the Dragon King of the East Sea. He has Rosy Cloud capture Dr. Su, who tries to run away from her while Ao Guang zaps Lai with his dragon staff. Lai sees Su fall from a height and he is being electrified by Ao Bing. This is where Lai gathers all his power and eliminates Rosy Cloud and manages to throw off Ao Guang, who is shocked to see his strength. Ao Guang transforms into his dragon self and swallows the dragon pearl, causing the river dragons to escape, which could create a widespread tsunami that will eliminate all the inhabitants of Donghai. Lai tries to hold the column together by grabbing Neja's ribbon but is unable to contain the column. The whole structure of the pagoda collapses and the dragons rush to the surface of the sea. The Dragon King tries to eliminate Lai by asking him to surrender his soul since he is just a mortal. Lai gathers all his strength and manages to burn the Dragon King, telling him he has no right over his life. The Dragon King dies, but this final blow proves fatal to Lai as well. As Su cries over his body, Lai meets Neja in his dream realm and asks Neja to save Donghai's people by finding a new body to reincarnate it. This is when Nezca unites his spirit with Lai and resurrects him from the flames while restoring his sky ribbon. Lai manages to subdue all the dragons just as they are about to destroy Donghai. United with Neja, he goes back to his city with Su and it finally begins to rain. Peace and water have been restored.